Does everyone want to get married?
Oh, everyone wants to get married. A man gets a wife to open the door. That's what getting a wife is for. Open the door and establish descendants.
What does opening the door mean?
Without future generations, doesn't your house simply close down? The more children, the more prosperity. You give birth to as many as your fate has in store. Now the state wants fewer children. There's birth control.
I believe in birth control. When my kids don't listen to me, I cuss them out and say, too bad birth control came too late for you. Will I ever stop having trouble with these kids? They were so naughty when they were little. Now they're grown up and won't work at all. I have to work with a sore arm. I do all the field work by myself.
Your sons don't work?
They don't work.
Why not?
They don't want to work in the fields.
What do they want to do?
Oh, a nice city job. Not one of them wants to work in the fields.
In the last 35 years, China's population has increased from 400 million to over 1 billion. If this expansion goes unchecked, the nation will face severe food shortages by the end of the century. The government is adopting increasingly drastic measures to reduce population growth. But country people still refuse to accept a smaller family if it does not include at least one son. Why do people in the countryside prefer boys?
A boy is good. He can open the door and have more children. But a girl, she'll grow up and leave. You've raised her for someone else.
That's right. The boy stays home. The boy brings in a wife.
A daughter's not family, she's only a relative. Once she grows up and marries, she's no more than a relative, is she? There's an old saying, an unfilial son will at least fetch water for you, but a filial daughter will only bring you mouths to eat your food. That's the truth. Your daughter brings her husband and her kid, 3 mouths to feed.
In the factories and mines, workers are allowed only one child, whether it's a boy or a girl. But there's no way this policy can be enforced in the countryside, because we're farmers. In the factories, they earn a regular salary. But here, everyone works the land. You just can't do without a son. A daughter will leave the family when she gets married. How can you survive without a son?
A few years ago, a woman had to be sterilized after the 3rd child. Now it's after the 2nd child. If she has a boy and a girl, or 2 boys, then she definitely has to be sterilized. But if she only has 2 girls, she can wait for the time being.
How many children do you have?
I have a boy and a girl.
So your situation is ideal. Were you sterilized?
I was unable to bear children. I adopted them.
Since you've got what you wanted, do people resent you for telling them to stop trying?
Yes, some women get very nasty and say, you're barren, so you don't want us to have babies either. It hurts me a lot. Why should I want to control them? But this is my responsibility. This is a state policy issued directly from the central government. It's not that I have anything personal against these women. Each team has a woman responsible for birth control. Wen Ying is in charge of the whole village.
Wen Ying's daughter-in-law just had a baby girl. According to the local birth control regulations, she still has another chance to try for a boy. Is your daughter-in-law going to keep trying for a boy?
I'm in charge of birth control here, and I can't break the rules. If the government allows it because country people need a son, she'll have another baby in a few years.
Right after Wen Ying got her daughter-in-law, people began to talk. They said, once that daughter-in-law has her quota of kids, she'd better get sterilized. Otherwise, we'll smash up her house.
Most women are afraid the operation will ruin their health.
Why is birth control dependent on sterilizing women? Aren't there other methods?
Yes, a man can have an operation, but people here aren't used to the idea. They feel that women are just housewives. If a woman's health is ruined, it doesn't matter as much, since she stays home anyway. This is the attitude in China.
Women are expected to take all the physical risks of birth control. They are also subjected to tremendous psychological pressure. The birth control policy does not challenge the traditional attitudes which favor a son, nor does it address the social and economic conditions that make a son necessary. While the state restricts the number of children and the family demands a son, women are caught in a double bind.